Welcome to the Dino Cinema. Guys, I've seen the dub. I was rewatching the show, the first 3 episodes with somebody, and she decided to put it on dub for her first watch through, so it was my first time seeing the dub. I'm like this close to being sold on just switching to dub. I'm this close. Kiefer's voice alone makes me want to switch to dub. However, my attachment with this series, like, is kind of already, like, associated with the sub. So I think for my first time watching new episodes, I'm just gonna stick to sub. However, I'm probably gonna keep checking out the dub just so I can keep hearing Kiefer's voice. Also, the sub is just more consistent so far to me compared to the dub. The dub was good, but some of like the acting and delivery from Coco's mom, she was kind of a standout to me, and not in a great way. Her acting wasn't the best. She felt kind of much more like typical anime dub. The rest of the acting was like really good. I wasn't quite sold on Coco's mom though. And TETIA's voice is it's funny, but it's also like it's just not. It feels a little too, I don't know. It just reminds me way too much of like a VTuber. And hey, no hate to VTubers at all. I love watching VTubers. I am a VTuber on my other channel and when I stream. But I don't really like when I'm watching dub TETIA, I don't feel like I'm experiencing a character. I feel like I'm experiencing like a meme, you know? So that kind of took me out of it. I didn't hate it. It just is not as like immersive for me. So yes, I'm gonna stick to sub for Witch Hat, but I will also definitely be checking out the dub. Yeah, this was the first time I had to wait a full week for a new episode to come out, because I got into episodes 1 and 2 a little late, and then episode 3 dropped not long after. So yeah, from here on out, I'm gonna be having to wait 7 days between each one. But hey, you know what? I think it's nice sometimes to have a series where you have to wait in between releases. That way you can have time to speculate on things in between. It's a certain feeling that we don't always get, because a lot of times shows drop and they just, you know, everything's right there. They don't the release window isn't a thing. It's just they drop all the episodes at once. It is especially special to me right now because I'm doing the whole reaction thing, so I get to theorize. You know, I get to make videos about me theorizing, and that's been a lot of fun so far. And I get to see other people speculating as well. I've already seen some different videos and comments by people that have opened my eyes to things about this series that I hadn't thought about myself. Such as this one video called Witch at Atelier's Golden Rule by this YouTuber called Lazy Jesse. Video was fantastic, a bunch of big brain stuff in there that I never would have thought to say. One of the things they said for episode 3 in particular was, when your craft's primary purpose is thinking outside the box, where better can you get someone to do that than someone who has lived outside the box her entire life? That's an amazing way to put it. I love that that's Coco's sort of role in the story, is that she is maybe going to be innovating, you know, the witch's magic system in ways that a lot of people haven't thought about before, because she's coming in with a fresh perspective, whereas most other people, I think, started learning magic from a much younger age than her. She grew up with a different lifestyle, so she's bringing those experiences in to this craft. And we already have seen like her ingenuity in episode 3 with her making the air glider. Other than that, I know I'm just looking forward to more of the show in general. I'm really curious, based on Agott's reaction at the end of episode 3. Kind of hard to read. You can't tell if is she upset that Coco passed? Is she in denial? You know, because I think Agott's goal was to, you know, force Coco into the test, so that way she would be forced to leave, because Agott just doesn't feel right about how Coco is allowed to be at the Atelier before taking the test, because I think it was stated that witches aren't allowed to stay at an Atelier until after they take that Dada range test, and Coco being allowed to be there before that, even despite you know, everything that happened to her. You know, I don't think Agott is completely understanding of Coco's situation, because she feels cheated out of how Coco was able to get to the same place that Agott was at with much less effort. So I'm just looking forward to seeing what Agott's up to mentally. And without further ado, let's start the next episode. Opening the page on the next episode. Oh, wow. So we went from water. Oh, okay. The way he described, like, basically air magic was so, like, fantastical. I thought it was, like, some kind of, like, trans-dimensional power. Which maybe it is, but what did he say? The primary tetrad? Rush buddy. Oh no. I thought they were gonna get into this loop again. Wait, she says she was practicing a fire spell for levitation magic? Oh. I guess Agott still hasn't talked to Coco yet. She hasn't asked for the shoes back or anything. That might be how they interact again, is Coco returning the shoes. Different people need different weights and grips. Oh yeah. Get her own pin. So, if Coco was able to make magic sort of her own, like be more comfortable drawing the sigils and stuff, by translating it, by literally turning it, like using the mark thingy, I don't know what it's called, the mark thingy for cutting a cloth. I'm wondering if I think I've seen her pin. I think her pin is more stubby looking. It's like white and kind of stubby look. I think I've seen it like in passing. I think it's in the opening. So I expect the pin is gonna be like closer to that. Now that I know she's getting a custom pin, I'm gonna pay attention to what it looks like and if it kind of matches that style that she would be used to. Yeah, okay, there it is. Yeah, so it's more like, it looks like it's more heavy on the end, on like the front half. Agott's shoes aren't fixed yet, so she needs to fly with Keyfree. We're finally seeing the wider witch society. Oh, yeah, she's being even rougher on Coco than before. I think before Agott was only feigning friendliness with Coco to kind of ease her into a false sense of security so she could kind of trick her into doing the test. Now she doesn't give a fuck. She's just being a dick. Food. Yeah, I'm noticing this now where, because another creator pointed out how this show uses music sparingly. There's like no music here. You'd think there would be, but it's just like, just taking the vibes. That happened in the other episodes too. Also, I had an idea. I'm sorry I keep pausing in this one. I just have a lot more to say as the episodes go on. I had an idea about the whole shoes getting wet thing. And you know, like the shoes getting wet and then the drawing coming undone and everything. What if you just like put like clear plastic over the shoes to like protect the drawing? You know what I mean? Because that's how you would protect like something from rubbing off that you knew was gonna get wet. You just put like protective plastic over it. I'm wondering, like, at least like specifically if you're about to go doing something around water, you know, why not put plastic over it? Is that even like, I don't even know if clear plastic is something they could make in this sort of technological era that they're in, but I don't know, just an idea I had. What does she notice? Oh, it's one of those, the brimmed caps. Probably that one that's been watching her this whole time. Damn, no sign or nothing. It's kind of just like in a corner. I really do love the lack of music and just like the immersion. I still want to know more about, oh, I guess I'm about to learn about the ink. That's what I was about to say. Oh yeah. I've been wanting to learn where they get the ink from. Here we go. So the ink comes from the silverwood trees. So I guess the trees are magical then. Eh? Somebody fucked a tree? The whole new meaning of a tree hugger. Damn, they're not even being subtle. I wanted to pick out a wand. Was she looking for new shoes to do it herself instead of waiting around on Coco? Scooby-Doo moment. That's literally what this is. Oh god. They're not about to see the god hand, are they? This looks like that city in the background of Wet Dry World Mario 64. I think we just came here to get a new wand. Yeah, that's just a whole ass dragon. You are our hope. Okay.
おいや、飽きて散歩でも行ったかも。
これは他にない。一日中見てられます。
変な格好の魔法使いを追いかけ、確か目玉みたいな仮面の。
Yeah, he's gonna know that immediately. This show's not wasting any time and getting shit going. I thought we were just gonna like pick out wands. I was down to go shopping. This isn't Agott's first rodeo.
手帳にあらかじめ書き溜めたって時に陣を閉じるだけで魔法を使えるでしょ。すごいね、かっこいいね。今の状況わかってるの？まずいよ、こっち行き止まりだよ。死にたくない。テティアまだ世界に何の魔法をしてこんなことに。
I'll be honest, I thought I was gonna like cut to somebody being stabbed or something. The way they were reacting, I was scared there for a second. She blames me for this. Okay, that tells me the dragons in this are like, they're not intelligent like free-range dragons. They're a lot more like typical like animal intelligence. Oh!
母親を石に変えたのも私たちを危機に巻き込んだの。そんなつもりはなかったって言うんでしょ。あなたのせいよ。ここ無知も無学もその自覚があるならもう何もしないことね。直す時間はないわ。大丈夫。
Wait, what? Richard was already just like doing it. I guess that's good. Like both of them were doing it as like a backup, just in case Agott crashes out. Let me do my thing. TETIA just left her cat behind and everything. I figured she'd be more like, I mean, I know it's a stressful situation, but maybe these individual outfits aren't that special. It's more just wearing it in general. But it's not like your first cap is like the only one. It's not like a lightsaber. This cap is your life. Yeah, I was gonna say Brush Buddy. Brush Buddy knows. Brush Buddies are smarter than dragons, it seems. Episode's already over? God. I felt like it was like 10 minutes. Jesus, okay. The pain of having to wait every week. I wonder why he was specifically worried about it getting dark. Maybe just being harder to find them, but I don't know. It felt like, is something gonna come out at night or something? Not that they have to worry about that because they're somewhere else. Well, damn, I was genuinely, I was looking forward to the whole like picking out a wand thing. It felt like, you know, picking out a new pair of glasses, except way cooler. I don't even know why that's the first thing I would think to compare it to. That's kind of lame in comparison. So yeah, Agott definitely went more in the doubling down on not liking Coco direction. So like the first 10 minutes of the episode was basically trying to fix Agott's shoes. Then we go to Calm. We see like the broader witch society, the broader witch world for the first time. We go to the store. We learned about the ink, and then she's about to go pick out a new wand and pin and everything, and then Coco sees the brimmed cap, chases after the brim cap, and then the rest of the time they're stuck in that labyrinth, and then they see the dragon. Dude, this episode is like fucking with my sense of time so hard because it feels like so little happened yet so much happened at the same time. It's crazy how quickly it felt like that one ended. I mean, that happens with like pretty much any show, but like damn, I could have just kept living in that world, man. Take me back. Okay, so the brimmed cap saying that Coco is their hope. I wonder if brimmed caps, like what's their deal? Let me go back to the scene where Kiefer talked about them. A dangerous faction that wears hats from a bygone era and hides their faces behind masks. I thought Coco would afford us a clue. I didn't expect them to come to her. And that's it. We don't get anything. Yeah, there's still a lot. Well, there's literally nothing we know about them basically, other than they use forbidden magic. I wonder, like, are they a cult? Are they fanatical over something? Like, and I wonder why don't the brimmed caps, if they're against like the regular witches, why don't they leak magic to the rest of the world? Although I guess they do I guess they do try that, because that one gave Coco the book and the wand. Also, if I were Coco, because I fidget with stuff so much, if I were Coco, I would have found out that wand was a pin like forever ago. because I fidget with stuff so much, like I eventually would have like accidentally twisted it open and probably taken the ink thing off too. But I'd be curious to see if like, because the brimmed caps, judging off of, you know, you are our hope, it sounds like the brimmed caps maybe aren't like a destructive force so much as they're an oppressed one, maybe? I mean, they could be both, you know? Like there's something endangering the existence of the brimmed caps, it seems. Clearly something worse than dragons, if they're just casually opening portals to these like dragon labyrinths. So I wonder if the brimmed caps are going to be like a surprisingly like, oh, maybe they weren't all that bad at all. I don't know. Again, it could be that they are victims but also bad. I'm probably missing a lot, but to me, this episode doesn't feel as like narratively rich as the first three, which is okay. I mean, you know, that was literally the beginning of this, like the very, very beginning of the series. You want to front load it with a lot of that kind of stuff. Here, it seems like this was more focused on like world building. There wasn't a whole lot of character stuff going on here, aside from like more towards the end, where Coco is starting to feel guilty, and she's starting to see from the other characters that maybe they blame her. I don't think TETIA blames Coco for it. I don't know, that look they had with each other was kind of like... TETIA didn't give Coco like a judgmental like look. It was more... It felt more like a look of shame, like a look of like... It almost felt like TETIA was like, I'm supposed to be an example to Coco, and here I am freaking out. That's kind of more the impression I got from that look. But then Coco internalized that as TETIA blames me for this. Agott definitely blames her for all of this stuff going on. You know, I was just saying, like, there wasn't a whole lot going on character-wise in this episode, and then I got into that with TETIA. I started thinking about that. It's like, wait a minute. That's the thing, is sometimes you gotta take time to think about these things, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute, there was more here than I thought. 'Cause that's what happened with the first 3 episodes, honestly. Is there was a lot more for me initially in those episodes than this one, and then over time I learned more about them. There's less going on, I think, in this episode initially, but again, over time I might realize more. Yeah, Coco, I think, is interpreting that look wrong. Like, Teddy is not looking at Coco in fear or judgment here. This is a very internalized sort of look. I think TETIA is much more disappointed in herself than Coco for not being stronger in this situation. That's the impression I get here. Yeah, and then like the body language here, the gasp, and then the whatever you call that, that's an I fucked up look. That's not a you fucked up look. And I never got the impression in the first place that TETIA would be the kind of person to blame Coco for any of this. That's definitely more Agott's thing. I think Agott likes to think of herself as the most capable one here, the most centered one here out of this group. However, I think that's actually Riche. I keep forgetting how to pronounce that. I remember hearing it in the dub, and I think it was just like Riche. We see that with the fact that Riche just went ahead and drew the exact same spells that Agott said she was going to. I guess it's like a backup. Didn't even tell anybody. It was just like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do this just in case, and she made the right call there. Okay, so the last thing we see Coco do is stand there holding TETIA's cap, looking unsure. I wonder if Coco's gonna try to... if she's considering staying behind to distract the dragon. If she feels like it's her fault they're in that situation in the first place. If she feels like she needs to stay behind to let the others escape. Kind of the impression I'm getting. Because the way that episode ended was... I was expecting it to go back to Coco and them. But we didn't see it, so that's why I felt so, like, incomplete with the episode, because it didn't go back. But now that I'm looking back at it, I can analyze that scene for what it was instead of waiting for more resolution for the next scene, because the next scene's not going to be till next week. So yeah, I think Coco's going to try to make distract the dragon and to try to let the others go. Agott's over here trying to make Coco feel guilty, but if Coco goes doing a maneuver like that, Agott's probably going to start feeling guilty. She's like, well, wait a minute. I ain't telling you to go kill yourself. Alright, but I think for now, that's all I've got to say on that one. I don't think there was quite as much to breakdown today. However, I think the reason I got into such a long breakdown last week, or last reaction, was because that was like, because I didn't really do any, I didn't do like a huge breakdown after episode 1 and 2. So the breakdown of episode 3 was more of, it was partially my reflections on episode 3 and episodes 1 and 2. This one was more so just on this episode and a little bit of stuff from the previous episodes. So if I've got anything else to say on this one that I didn't think to say here, I will hopefully remember to say it in the next episode. But that's going to happen, I think, in between every episode. I'm going to realize things about episodes in between. But I do want to try to make an effort to analyze each episode the best I can in the video. Otherwise, the reaction isn't really going to be hardly worth uploading, I fear. But if y'all want to talk to me more about the series and other stuff, feel free to join my Discord linked in the description. And until next time, remember, art is magic.